Courage. Courage is the state or quality of being brave. It also means the ability to exercise boldness in carrying out positive activities in the community. Courage is the ability to face danger, difficulty, uncertainty, or pain without being overcome by fear or being deflected from a chosen course of action. Courage makes a person to be fearless and brave to fight for what is right and true. Now, types of courage. One, physical courage. Physical courage is a type of courage that comes to mind most readily. It involves facing physical danger or discomfort. Soldiers, firefighters, policemen, and emergency responders often demonstrate physical courage by risking their lives to protect others. For example, soldiers in combat, like soldiers facing the dangers of war, exhibit physical courage as they confront life-threatening situations to protect their country and comrades. Also, firefighters rush into burning houses or burning buildings to save lives and property, putting their own safety at risk. Two, moral courage. This type of courage involves standing up for what is right, just, or ethical, even in the face of social pressure, criticism, or potential harm. Individuals who speak out against injustice, discrimination, or corruption exhibit moral courage. It requires a strong sense of personal values and willingness to defend them, even when it's difficult. That's, for example, civil rights activists, figures like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks display moral courage by advocating for racial equality despite significant opposition and personal risk. Also, another example of a moral courage is the whistleblowers, that is, individuals who expose corruption or wrongdoing within the organizations demonstrate moral courage by standing up for what is right, even if it jeopardizes their careers or safety. Three, spiritual courage. Spiritual courage is the one exhibits on one's spiritual faith and live according to the tenets. It is also a state of obeying the injunction of the holy books. In other words, it has to do with living by one's religious belief. For instance, a preacher going to deliver a message of judgment from God to a ruler in a country has displayed a spiritual courage. Now, attribute of a courageous person. One, boldness. Boldness is the state of being fearless. It takes boldness to stand for truth and fight every form of corruption or injustice in the society. Like, for example, late Dr. Tai Solari in his lifetime was very bold in fighting many government anti-masses policies through his speech and articles in the newspaper, particularly in the Sunday Tribune. Two, bravery. Bravery is the state of being bold and fearless to challenge and oppose negative behavior in the society. Bravery makes a person dare the negative consequences of his or her actions. He rather dies for justice rather than keeping quiet. A very good example of a man always exhibiting bravery is Gani Fawehinmi. He was known for fighting against injustice, corruption, nepotism in Nigeria, and he was also a friend of the masses. And many Nigerian governments, particularly in the military era, did their worst to silence him. But Gani Fawehinmi did not relent because he was very brave and courageous to call a spade at any time. Three, commitment. Courageous people are committed. That is, courageous people are committed people. They are always ready to give their time, money, and talent to fight a just cause. For instance, Professor Dora Akwere of the NAFDAC committed herself to eradicating fake drugs in Nigeria. Though nefarious businessmen, including those from her tribe, made effort to frustrate her, yet she was undoubted. She was very committed to this great task until she left the office. Four, endurance. It takes endurance to be courageous. Courageous people are always criticized. They are always fought and misunderstood. Sometimes they are denied their rights because they are fighting for the truth. They may also be blackmailed, yet they keep standing on the truth until they win. Five, determination. Courageous people never give up fighting for a cause. Men like Adams Oshiomhole, Gani Fawehinmi, late Dr. Peko Ransom Kuti and many other social critics in Nigeria have gone to detention on several occasions. But because of determination to fight corruption and injustice, they refused to be silenced by pains. They refused to be silenced by pains they went through in detention. 6. Diligence. Men of courage are always diligent and hardworking. They always pursue their goals until they are achieved. Examples of courageous people in the history of Nigeria. One, we have Moremi of Ife, Madam Efunroye Tinubu, Bayajida Sarauniya Amina, that is Queen Amina, and Jaja of Opobo, and so on among others. One, Moremi of Ife. The Ayaba Moremi lived in the 12th century and hailed from Ofa and was married to Oromiyan, the heir of the king of Ife and founding father of the Yoruba people, Oduduwa. Moremi is said to have been taken as a slave by the Igbo, and due to her beauty and Esimiri's help, married their ruler as his anointed queen. Queen Moremi was a courageous queen who is fabled to have contributed to the deliverance of the Yoruba tribe from oppression. At a time in ancient Yoruba land, the people of the Ile-Ife were enslaved by a neighboring tribe called the Igbo forest people. Moremi helped them in gaining freedom from these people. 2. Madam Efunroye Tinubu. Madam Efunroye Tinubu was born Efunporoye Osun Tinubu. She was a politically significant figure in Nigerian history because of her role as a powerful female aristocrat and slave trader in pre-colonial and colonial Nigeria. She was a major figure in Lagos during the reigns of Oba Adele, Oluwole Akintoye, and Dosunmu. She was born in year 1805 in Abeokuta and died in 1887. Now, the next person is Queen Amina, full name being Sarauniya Amina. She was known as the warrior queen, and she was also known as Queen Amina of Zaria. She was the first woman to become the Sarauniya queen, that is queen, in a male-dominated society. She expanded the territory of the Hausa people of North Africa to its largest border in history. Queen Amina was born in the middle of the 16th century to King Nikatao, the 22nd ruler of the Sazau, Queen Bakwa Turunku, in 1576 when Karama died. Queen Amina, now about 43, became Queen of Zazau. She used her military prowess and power to expand the territory of Sazau to the mouth of the Niger in the south, and also which also include Kano and Katsina in the north. Another person of courage in the Nigeria history is Jaja of Opobo. He was born in Umuduruwa Amaigbo in the Igbo land. He was taken about the age of 12, as a slave in Boni by Oba Ajuku of Oguta, who had come to Boni to buy slaves, as he was known to make his slave king. Jumofe later took the name Jaja for his dealings with the British. His rise from a slave boy to a decorated king showed Jaja of Opobo was an exceptional leader and businessman. His tenacity and doggedness, even in the face of persecution and imprisonment, earned him respect, dignity, and favor even when he was in captivity.